Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to the channel and to our coffee time together. Today in our horror video we have horror movies based on prisons slash jails. So I hope that you're ready. Grab your mugs of coffee and let's start.
It's coffee time.
So the idea for this video came the other day when I was still thinking about the movie The Platform. I love that movie so much. I made a video comparing best and worst new horror in Netflix. So if you want to check that one out, I'm going to leave a link up there. But I was thinking, there are some cool horror movies that are based on jails or prisons, and I even watched another one the other day called The Experiment, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a little list. I only have 9 titles for this list, and so we're gonna be revisiting some older and newer movies based in jails or prisons that are horror. We're going to start from the oldest one to the newest one. So the oldest one that I have on this list is from 1987, and that is Prison. And in this one that not many people might know about, we have Viggo Mortensen and we have Kane Hodder. And this was actually recorded in an all-state prison in Wyoming, I believe it was. And we're following the story of a ghost of a executed prisoner, and he comes back from the dead for vengeance because he was executed for a murder that he didn't commit, and one of the guards that worked there knew of his innocence, so he's back to take revenge. And from 1988 we have a really cool one. You just have to check the poster, and that is Destroyer. This is a slasher film, and we're following Moser. He is a murderer. He has raped and murdered 23 people, and he has been condemned to be electrocuted. So while he is on the electric chair, he starts bloating about how cool it is that he has killed so many people and stuff. And there is a riot going on outside, so the moment that they are actually starting to put the electricity on him, there is an electricity outage, and so he only gets like a little bit of that. So after the riot and everything, they cannot find Moser, so they just assume that he died during this riot, and the prison is abandoned. However, Moser obviously did not die, and he is still living in this abandoned prison now, and surviving with the help of his dad. This is a really cool old school horror slasher, and I really enjoyed this one. I think it's one of those hidden gems that maybe not so many people know of. So if you're looking for something new and you love horror when it's done in prisons or jails, this might be for you. From 1999 we have one of the best movies in this list, and that is The Green Mile, based on the book by Stephen King. This was such an amazing story, and we have also in the main character Tom Hanks, and it is all about this new inmate that comes into the jail, and there is a lot of supernatural things happening with him. And this movie was just so sad but so good. And fun fact about it is that the inmate is based on a real life story. I mean, it's not exactly the same, because the real story is that the youngest black person to be ever electrocuted was a 14-year-old boy that was accused of killing 2 little girls, white girls, that were living in his neighborhood, and he didn't even had a chance, not a proper trial or anything. And a couple of years ago I saw that his case has been now revoked, so basically he's now been declared innocent after they killed him when he was 14. So good times. So Stephen King took this story to kind of inspire himself on the character of Michael, the inmate, but he, instead of making him a child, which would have been perhaps a bit too much at the time, he decided to make him a little bit more dumbed down, like he's still a child in his head. And I've always loved this story so much. I remember going to the cinema actually to watch this, and since then it's been one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. From 2001, we have a German movie called Das Experiment. That's basically The Experiment, which was remade in 2010. But I want to recommend you to watch the original one because it was, for me, much better. The atmosphere is better, everything is better. The only good part about the remake is that the cast is so good, that the acting is on point. We have Forest Whitaker, we have Adrien Brody, so the new movie is also really good. But if I have to choose one, I would take the German one. So in this movie, the premise is very simple. We have 20 people that have been asked to join a sort of experiment in exchange of money. So, it's easy to get people then to participate. They're all males, and half of them are going to be prison guards and the other ones are going to be inmates, but they're not going to know which part are they going to be. And the rules are that they cannot kill each other, but of course when you put people in that position and you lock them down like that, there is always fights about power, and it's a really good psychological experiment, honestly. And I just thought it was so genius when this movie came out in 2001. I also enjoyed the remake. I just watched the remake last week. Actually, I have never watched it because I thought, it's the same story that I already know, but it's on Netflix, so I was like, I don't have anything to lose after watching the platform. I was in a mood for more prison horror movies. I mean, it's not exactly horror, more like thriller-ish, but I decided to include it in this list because Das Experiment, I think it's a great movie that maybe many people don't know of because they only know the American version. So if you have not checked out the original one, I would strongly recommend you to do so. From 2006, we have Death Row. This is kind of like a documentary horror in which a filming crew and some criminal gang get locked up in this prison that it's supposed to be a prison made from the devil, from hell. It's not the best horror movie you will ever see, but if you're looking for horror documentary stories exploring prisons, you might want to give it a try. Next, we have The Task from 2011. This is another one that is very poorly rated, but hey, you might want to give it a try. And we're following contestants of a TV show that are in for the cash. And basically their task is to spend some time in an abandoned prison. And while they're there, they realize that there is this evil presence there. It's just fun for a watch. It's not the best one in this list, but I just wanted to include it in case that you didn't know about it. Next, we have Apparitional or Hunting on Block 11 from 2014. And here we have a camera crew, film crew. They are ghost hunters and they have to, make a new show, so they put them into this abandoned prison to get some cool footage, but they basically get more than they had bargained for and everything starts to go downhill. While this is not a found footage movie, it does have a couple of scenes where it does look like found footage, so if you like this kind of movies and you're looking for some new horror in an abandoned prison, this might be one you want to check out. From 2015, we have The Human Centipede 3. We all know The Human Centipede. This is a movie that either you love it or you hate it, I guess. I just think the whole concept, it's just crazy and fun. And we follow the main two doctors that we saw in part 1 and 2, but this time they are in a prison and they want to connect as a human centipede 500 of those inmates. So they're just basically taking it to the next level. This is the least favorite of the human centipede movies for me, but it is the one that it's based on a prison. And sadly, Dieter Lasser has passed away this year. Apparently he did pass away in February, but they did not announce that until April. And it's really sad. I've seen the main guys in conventions many times, and he was always in character, always dressed as his character, and he was always so much fun. So it's kind of like a big loss. And the last one, which is the one that inspired this list, is The Platform from 2020. This is a Spanish horror science fiction movie in which we are in a near future in which prisons are very different. We have a sort of vertical prison in which every day a self-automated big platform with food comes from the first level to the very bottom of the prison. So the people that are upstairs are the ones that get all the nice fresh food, and while it gets, you know, down and down, there is less and less food until there is no food for the inmates. All of the inmates are paired. There are 2 inmates per level, and it gets really gory, disgusting, and it explores so well human nature and what it is, social class differences, and how easy we forget while we climb on the top how it was when we were at the bottom. And it is fantastic representation of society, especially now that we are seeing outside all of those people that are hoarding food without taking into consideration that others are gonna come later and are not gonna find any food in the supermarkets. The acting, the characters, the plot, everything was so well done, the colors. And it is a movie with a lower budget because the whole movie, it is basically done in this prison, but it is so well executed. I'm never gonna stop praising this movie. This might make it to my favorite movies of 2020 just because I loved it so much. So if you have not watched it yet, I'm asking you again to please give it a try, because I really love this movie, if you have not noticed by now, because I just keep saying I love it because I do. So these were my 9 horror movies based in prisons. Let me know down below if there's any other ones that you would recommend to me and what you thought about this video idea, and if you'd like to see more videos like this one, let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support. If you want to follow me on the social media, all the links as always down below, and hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!